Hey, welcome to Daily Beard for August 13th, 2019, and finally, the end of Tozer. Not actually the end of Tozer, like there's a lot more Tozer if you ever want to read Tozer, but this is the end of, this is chapter 10, it's the end of the pursuit of God. So, if you've been following, if you haven't, there's 9 other videos you should watch before this one. So, let's jump into it. So chapter 10 is called the Pursuit of God, obviously, or it's Pursuit of God, chapter 10, the Sacrament of Living. And so Tozer first immediately talks about the fact that we live really divided lives. Everyone thinks, or generally, everyone kind of puts everything in two fields. There's the sacred and the secular. And Tozer starts up by saying this is not biblical at all. In the Bible, Paul, the Apostle Paul, says, do all things to the glory of God. And Tozer points out that this is not an exaggeration and that this is not impossible. According to Tozer, it opens before us the possibility of making every act of our lives contribute to the glory of God. Thus, Paul even mentions eating and drinking. So, like, basic everyday functions can be done to the glory of God. Tozer then moves on to the fact that our bodies themselves were made by God. And as such, there is nothing shameful in our bodies, which throughout Christian history, let's be honest, like we haven't done super well with. We tend to shame a lot of people about lots of things, especially with their bodies. Now, that's not to say you can't do shameful things with your body. Totally can. But your body in and of itself is not shameful. There's no part of your body which is actually shameful. So Tozer then talks about the fact that daily acts should be equal to the sacraments, because they are pretty much sacraments. Everything we do can be raised to God together, whether it be at church or on the playing field or driving or you name it, pretty much. As long as it's not sinning, you can raise it to God. Tozer says, this truth runs in our blood, becoming fact in our lives. We can meet this successfully only by the exercise of an aggressive faith. We must offer all our acts to God and believe that He accepts them. So everything we do. Thus, every place is actually sacred. There isn't a place, like I know you hear a lot in movies, this place is sacred. And there's like, a lot of people refer to churches as sacred and like, there's the whole holy ground thing. But God made everything, so technically everything is sacred. Like there's not a place that is more sacred than the other. Now, once upon a time, there was the Holy of Holies, but that's over. And there's no division of the acts we do in and of themselves. Now, this is not to say that all acts are equal, okay? Paul, for a time, was making tents. He was a tent maker. That you can do the glory of God. He also wrote a lot of the New Testament. That he did the glory of God. One, no offense to any tent makers out there, is a bit more important than the other in the grand scheme of things, but both can be done equally well towards the glory of God. They're both pure and pleasing to God, but different. So thus, work where you are called to work. Tozer mentions that it's not what one actually does with their life, it's why they do it. So I'm gonna kind of close this off with the final paragraph or so of what Tozer's talking about. He says, living itself will be sacramental and the whole world a sanctuary. Your entire life will be a priestly ministration. As you perform a simple task, you will hear the voice of the seraphim, which are angels, if you don't know, saying, holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of His glory. And then he kind of closes with this, which wraps up his whole book, which I love. Okay, so, Lord, I would trust Thee completely. I would be altogether Thine. I would exalt Thee above all. I desire that I may feel no sense of possessing anything outside of Thee. I want constantly to be aware of Thy overshadowing presence, to hear Thy speaking voice. I long to live in restful sincerity of heart. I want to live so fully in the Spirit that all my thoughts may be sweet incense ascending to Thee, and every act of my life may be an act of worship. Therefore I pray the words of Thy great servant of old. I beseech Thee, so to cleanse the intent of mine heart with the unspeakable gift of Thy grace, that I may perfectly love Thee and worthily praise Thee. And all this I confidently believe that will grant me through the merits of Jesus Christ Thy Son. Amen. So that's how he ends it, basically. He basically says, look, all this stuff I've been talking about, all these chapters, and how like knowing your place and being meek and like listening and quieting yourself and how to listen to God, all of this combines to work your everyday life. Someone's apparently yelling behind me. Doesn't matter. So, and that's Tozer. God is in the everyday. God wants your everyday. He wants every second of your day. And he'll take that and make something awesome with it. I know it seems weird, but it's true. There is no sacred or secular. Again, there's sinning. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can't sin to the glory of God, but you definitely can do your driving to the glory of God. You can do your, gardening to the glory of God. There's lots of things you can do to the glory of God. Cleaning your garage, parenting your children, teaching, singing, whatever it is you do. I don't know. I work with people with disabilities. I can do that to the glory of my God. I try to. I don't always succeed, but I try to. So that's Tozer, Pursuit of God. If you've watched these, I would really appreciate any feedback in the comments. And if you would ever, let me know if you'd ever want me to do the next book. There are 2 other books. The next one's called The Purpose of Man, which I'm going to read eventually anyways. But if you would like me to tackle it for the vlog, let me know. I'd really appreciate any, just if thumbs up I'll take. But, now you're all going to give me thumbs up and be like, hey. But if you've followed the journey with Tozer with me, thank you very much. I hope you got something out of it. I read The Pursuit of God. I'm such a pale imitator. I'm giving you bullet points on greatness here. Read the book. It's really worth it. If you know me and you're like, I don't have the book, I can lend it to you, or I actually have an email copy of it still. So if you want that, I can send that to you. So anyway, that's all I got today. Thanks for watching. Read some Tozer. Thank God for Tozer. The man was a brilliant thinker. I'm grateful for him. And you have an awesome day. God bless.